Hello gang, and welcome back to the next edition of Joe's Arcade. This time, going to be probably another quick one, going to be modeling a 6-prong outlet that's going right up here on this wall. It looks a little something like this, this tannish one, and I'm able to do this, thankfully, because I made a field visit the other day. Took a couple extra dimensions that had been missing from a few things and a few more pictures that'll really help bring this place to life. So just cleaning up another little detail here and getting pretty close, I think, to the point of putting a lot of stuff up on the walls and then eventually moving the arcade machines in. So this week's tunes of choice is going to be King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard's Polygondwanaland. A little bit of a different one. And we'll get that going here. And yeah, off to work. So I'm going to be working mostly from this PDF. I do have these 2 dimensions in red added from my visit the other day, which is going to help me out with the modeling. I just don't have them actually scanned in at this point. So let's just get going. Make use of this nice wood paneling for some depth perspective. I've got a 2.15 dimension. I've got a circle that goes on the top, and I think I'd like that back. It's kind of like a half arc thing here. And this is, I have a thickness recorded for this that's kind of rough. It's just 0.08. Pretty thin piece of metal. I'll group this thing up right away. And now my total depth of the entire thing is going to be 12.25 inches. I can come across 2.15. And there is my, that part. Words are tough sometimes. The whole thing is half an inch thick. Does that look correct? Let's do a quick perspective check on this thing. Yeah, that's just about 2 inches. I think I have a mistake in my notes. That is probably intended to be 1.5 inches. Good to find these things right off the bat, always. Well, and by that I mean how embarrassing that the 3rd dimension that I'm looking for is a mistake, but we all make them. But I believe that should be more like 1.5 inches. It looks more correct proportionally from the photo, and it's not super hard to make that kind of a writing error. Yeah, that it ought to be about correct. While I'm over here looking at this thing, I'm going to pull this other outlet over, and I'm going to explode it because I'm going to want the prongs here for this thing. Okay. So I've kind of got that basic shape. There's also, on the side here, there's a 1/4 inch approximate border that's going around. So if I jump back in here, I can actually not delete that line. Ha! Fooled myself. And I'll come down 0.24. And over 0.24. Let's get this correct here. 0.24. 0.24. are. 0.24 and 0.24. That'll kind of be my border. I'm going to grab these lines and I'm going to copy them over onto this other side as well. And then this all gets pushed in by the thickness of this little top bit here, which is 0.08 and 0.08. And that seems about correct with the picture. And let's see, what else have we got going on here? Okay, so we have got 6 of these prongs. They're not prongs, they're the actual outlets. 6 outlets that are in total from top to bottom 9.875 inches. Okay, so we've got that. Now I'm going to actually try something here that I know SketchUp is capable of doing, and I haven't fooled around with it too much. And that is just copying over copying an object down, and then I should be able to divide it by a number and fill in the space in between. So I'll show you what I mean. I'm going to copy this down here to the bottom of that, and since that's the most recent thing I've done, I want to hit divided by 5, and it'll create equally spaced 5 of them. And I like to check, make sure I didn't create too many. So I'll do divided by 4. It's just not enough. I'll divide it by 5. And now I've got all 6 there equally spaced. So no need to sit there and kind of work out the exact math behind that. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and group these guys up, and they will go into this group eventually. There's a couple other little features here that that need to get added to make it look just right. There's a little bit of light going on here. That is a diameter of 0.33 inches, which is going to be 0.165 inches. And I think I'm going to create that with a few less sides. Let's go 16. 0.165. And we will pull that out a 1/4 inch. And we've also got that is in line with these things. And of course, there's no convenient geometry at the bottom. But we'll take that. It is centered on that top edge. Copy it down like that. And then it gets moved down from here by 0.4 inches. So there's that. Okay. And then there's also like a little switch in here. And so let's go ahead and model that thing. I've got it separate. And this thing is thin, but that's going to be 1.23 inches by 0.67, 1.23. Probably use the rectangle tool for some of this stuff. And it comes 0.01 out. Very, very thin. And then it's got kind of like this half, it's kind of got like a Pac-Man shape going on in it, which I'm going to have to just eyeball, because there's not, in the tight space it was in, there's not a great way to kind of measure those circular diameters. And it ends up being a lot of guesswork on that anyway. But I do know that in the middle, it's about 0.05 out. And I know that it's coming 0.35 out, I believe, is what my dimensions are telling me here. Nope, 0.2. And the diagonal is about 0.35. So let's see what I can figure out here. If I come out, yay far, and I go 0.2, how far is this? 7/16, which is just over a ½ inch. So that's too far. Let's try moving it in. I get 3/8, which is 0.375. That's too far, or too short. Just to get an idea of what I'm looking at here, I'm going to draw another line and I'm going to make it 0.35. It's kind of a feel for how far I'm trying to push this thing. Go there. 3/8 still. If I pull out a handy dandy calculator, I can check that. Well, 3/8 would be 6/16. Somewhere right between 7/16 and 3/8 is what I'm looking for. This spot seems as good as any. But what if I hit 0.35 in that direction? So it's a little bit long there. But again, this measurement's kind of approximate. So I'll shorten it up about yay much, and then I will copy that. And I'll scale it by -1 to mirror it. Delete this line here. Finish that guy up, and actually I'm going to delete this even, so I can make it a single length, which, yeah, it's not actually what I want to do here, but bear with me for a moment. While I think through exactly how to lay this thing out. Because it does have this kind of circular element to it. So I'm going to grab it and I'm going to move it out here. Whoa, I've lost it. Don't want to do that. I'm going to move it out a little bit, and then I'm going to move it onto the floor so I can see it a little bit better while I'm working. And what I want to do is create a 3-point arc and then just come up with something here that looks nice. I know that's pretty vague, but that's sometimes the best you can do. Make that 32 sides. It's just a starting point. Might be a few too many. So let's go back and make it 24 sides. Something like this looks okay. So 3/16 is the bulge, huh? Wonder what happens if I click like that and then I try to draw another one. Will it snap to a tangent? No, no, it won't. But I can kind of approximate what looks tangential. Something like this looks about right for that wheel. Ha! Or not. Let's undo that and come at this from a better angle. It's not bad. Okay. There we go. That'll work great. And I'll draw a line here and extend it to there so I can cut off this back end. Delete that and delete that. And my Pac-Man is like mostly complete. Okay. So what I'm going to do to finish this guy off is I'm going to grab it in the center. I'll pull it up to here. And I'm going to try to actually center it on that thing. Like so. Let's see what this length is. From here to here is about 1/4 inch. And the whole thing is like, oh, 0.67 inches. That's a little long. I thought it was supposed to be 0.67, but it's clearly not. I'm going to get in here and just delete this, and I will re-extrude this face 0.67. Oh yeah, 11/16. Sorry, I was just doing math incorrectly. But I do have that this is 0.39 inches. We will group that and move it up to the center here. So that's our switch. And group the switch within itself even. And then I'm going to move that to be in line with this circle. It's easier for me to snap that to the top of that so I don't have to search for the end of a circle, but that looks about right to me. And we will move that down 0.4 inches. Let me take a look on the picture at that one. I've got one. Looks that was a spot I wasn't able to get into with the measurement. Okay. So now we've got this whole assembly here. And I'm going to actually well, no, I want to keep those grouped. I do. Because now I'm going to move them to be centered on this whole larger panel thing. So I'm going to draw a line from top to bottom. I'm going to move it a little bit away just so it's easier for me to see. I'm going to group these all together, and I'm going to move them to the midpoint on this guy. Yeah. And you know what? One of my handwritten dimensions on this other thing tells me to do otherwise. I'm gonna undo. Just kidding. I'm gonna redo. I'm a mess today apparently. Okay. So this is actually 1 inch down. I moved it 0.4, so I need to move it an extra 0.6. And then this whole dealio should be moved down half of that. Nope. The top of this outlet is ½ an inch from here. This is what I get for looking at my outdated PDF and not my new notes. It's ½ an inch down. And how does that line up? Something does not line up correctly there. ½ an inch. 0.5 plus 9.875 plus 0.4 plus 1 plus 0.33 plus 0.67. That's 12.775. So in here somewhere, one of my dimensions is not correct. And I think it is this one, because this does not look correct to me. So let's bring that guy back up 0.6. That looks a lot closer to how it should be looking. Might be, I think we're talking about an inch from here to the bottom, 3/4 of an inch. Let's move it up 1/10. Bring it closer, split the difference a little bit, and whatever error got introduced here. And I think that's pretty good. Move that guy over. And I've got these sitting flush to the face. I'm going to move into the group here and select my subgroup, and I'm going to move it in first to be flush like that, and then out 0.11, which is how far those are extruded. And then I'm going to come into here. I'm going to trace this thing. Go around. That was a miss. Halfway. Could probably do some fancy mirroring with it at this point, but it's going to be easier just to finish tracing. Come around the top side here. And voila, I've gotten this face where I want it, which is somewhere I can push it back to the back of my outlet here. And we will move that guy 5 inches to here. 5 inches, kind of random, but that's what it is. I'll select that, make sure I don't have anything else weird selected here. And I want to copy this from there to there, there to there, there to there, 2 to go, and last one to there. Okay. And now I've got a nice hole in there for all of them. I can select all my faces with a triple click so I know nothing's gone horribly wrong. Move that back 5 inches. And I can group up this whole thing and it's good to go. I'll come back with a more textured version of this guy later when I do some other texturing, but for the moment, oops, I do want to jump in and just make these black behind the outlets because that's a nice easy touch. And do you see what I've done here? I've made a critical mistake. This part should also be back there. So let's undo this copy paste shenanigans that I did. Push that guy back. There we go. And I can make that black while I'm at it. And now I'll do my fancy copies. There we go. It's not working with SketchUp if you don't make all kinds of mistakes. And yeah, that looks a lot better. So now I'll go ahead and group this whole guy up. Nothing behind it. Beautiful. Okay. Well, there we've got it. Got that outlet. I'm going to move it out of the room here so I don't mistakenly think that it's in the correct place. And yeah, we'll go ahead and leave it at that. Thanks for watching.